hanging out with my man Alan Thrall, who's actually my coach now, which is pretty cool. Did you watch the video I put up yet, or no?
Yeah, I did. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It
well,
would have been better if I didn't know it was a joke beforehand.
I don't think a lot of people knew it was a joke, and I think that was the funny part, because I try to just make it like a normal Joey video.
Yeah, it sounded legit.
Yeah, I got a ton of thumbs downs. It was great, and a lot of haters. So, I mean, that's good in my opinion.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, so pretty much, I think it's cool because we both own businesses. And how old are you? You're pretty young, right?
28.
28. Okay, so I'm gonna be 25 in like 2 weeks. So it's always cool to talk to someone who's a little bit younger. Normally, I'm like talking to like the old heads about starting a gym business, and so we can relate that way. But I just wanted to ask, kind of like, what was your background? You can like sum it up. Doesn't have to be crazy long or anything. Of just kind of like maybe high school, sports, college, and you were in the military, and then kind of where that was all heading in terms of like back in the day.
Yeah, I started. I always played sports growing up, and then I started lifting weights in middle school because the local high school football coach came to the middle school and said, "If you guys want to play football, you have to start lifting weights." So we opened up the gym at the high school for us to go train there in the summer. And then I started lifting weights, mainly not because I was, really obsessed with lifting weights, but I really like playing football.
Uh-huh.
And so I wanted to get better at football. So I lifted weights. And I got pretty strong in high school doing the program that he had us do. And then once high school was done, I didn't continue playing football. And I just kind of said, I'm not playing football anymore. Why do I need to lift weights? So I stopped lifting weights, and I actually got into long distance running for a couple of years.
Really?
So all I would do is run. And then I did that for a couple of years, and then I wanted to join the Marine Corps, so I did. And then in the Marine Corps, I kind of got back into lifting weights after like the initial year of training. And so that's all I really did with my free time in the Marine Corps was lift weights. And then I kind of found like powerlifting, because up until then I didn't know what powerlifting was. I just did, I just lifted.
Yeah.
And then I got into strongman while I was in the Marine Corps. And then like a couple of years in the Marine Corps, I just decided that as soon as I'm done with the Marine Corps, I want to open my own gym. That's how it started.
I'm still baffled that you were actually a runner. It's still. Do you have like pictures of that? Was there like a huge weight difference from then and now?
Yeah, it was like 170 pounds.
That's crazy.
Skinny. I was kind of a recluse at that time. Like I didn't have many friends. I would just because all my friends were just doing different things that I wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
And that's why I joined the Marine Corps, because I was just like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to get away. But yeah, I would just go run all over town 5 or 6 days a week. I would work, and that's it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have like social media then, so I didn't take any pictures or anything. But I do have some pictures when I was skinny and frail.
Dude, that's hilarious. I feel like next year you have to be like Forrest Gump for Halloween and just start running around like town.
Yeah.
So like for me, I kind of did the same thing. I went to college, but then I realized like college wasn't for me, and I kind of got a small job actually making fruit trays at Giant, and kind of just trying to figure out myself or whatever. So, like, when was your kind of, like, aha moment of, I want to do the whole gym thing? Were there kind of, like, people who inspired you? Or were you on YouTube, like, looking at people, stuff like that? Kind of how that, like, get that spark going?
Yeah, so I knew that when I finally realized that I wasn't going to continue the Marine Corps, I said, once my first 4-year contract is up, I'm done. What do I want to do? And I had a pretty high security clearance in the Marine Corps because I did presidential security. So I could have done a lot with that. But I was like, I don't want to do the same thing as a civilian. And so it was like, what do I really, really want to do? And I was just obsessed with the gym and training. And so I said, I want to train people. I want to have my own gym. And I actually found Elliot Hulse, and this, way back when he was consistently making videos. And so his videos were the first ones that I ever watched.
Okay.
And it was the first time seeing Strength Camp. It was the first time that I've ever seen a gym that wasn't like a commercial gym. So I didn't know what a warehouse gym was. And so I thought that was really, really cool. I also saw some stuff from guys like Zach Evanesh.
Yeah, for sure.
And so they were like really motivating me. Like I want that, you know? I also watched a lot of Chandler Marchman's videos.
Yeah.
That was back when him and Elliot were like training together, and they would do strongman. And so anyways, yeah, he had Go Elite SC, the Swole Patrol was his thing.
Yep.
But anyways, so I used to watch those videos first, and that motivated me. And I actually bought some stuff that Elliot Holtz was selling, like an e-course of like how to start your own gym. So I bought that, and I did that when I was in the Marine Corps, which it was helpful. So that was kind of who I guess motivated me to do the whole gym thing.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I did the same thing with Elliot. I bought a bunch of his programs. And it's funny you say that about Chandler, because on his Instagram, he doesn't have like a large Instagram following, but like on YouTube he was like huge. And it was just kind of funny how like reverse that was, because now it's kind of like you, like I guess you just started getting more on the Instagram, and now your Instagram's kind of growing like crazy. And Zach Evanesh is like an hour from me, so I went to his gym and
nice.
Yeah, did like the masterminds and got the underground strength stuff. So I was gonna keep this one for them, but I kind of just want to ask it. So, how did you come up with the Train Untamed slogan? Like, I feel like every time you say it, I picture you like as a wizard from like Lord of the Rings or something, and like I didn't know like if there was something that it came from, or I was like, damn, like where's this guy come up with this?
So Untamed Strength, the short answer is that while I was in the Marine Corps, I was talking to one of my roommates, my other Marine buddy who lifted with me, and I told him I want to start my own gym, and he was the only one that I really told, because he was, he was the only one that would like actually believe it. You know what I mean? Everyone else would just give me a hard time about it. But he actually believed it, and so we're talking about like, what are you going to name it? And I was like, I want the word strength to be in it, because I want it to be a strength training gym. So something with the word strength in it. And then we were trying to figure out words to describe like the opposite of being in the Marine Corps and being like micromanaged, being in the military, you know? And so eventually, as we're talking, I think he actually came up with it, but he said something about being untamed. And so I kind of went with that. I was like, Untamed Strength. So that's what we went with. So Untamed Strength came first. And then I'm not sure where Train Untamed came from. Yeah. As like a sign off. If you look at the very first YouTube video I ever made it's called like How to Train at Home. And it's me lifting like garbage cans, and like it's a joke, but it's like doing pull-ups on like a basketball hoop. Okay. And at the very end, I knew I had to have some sort of sign off.
Yeah.
And I said something like, I'd like keep training hard. I said keep training hard, Thrall day long, which was so stupid. And so I thought like, dude, that sounds pretty good. But no, it eventually switched to Train Untamed. I don't know why, but the way I say it was inspired by when I was in the Marine Corps, we would talk like drill instructors. Oh, okay. And that's kind of like how Marine Corps drill instructors sound. Gotcha. And so that's where the style of that goes. If you watch really old videos, the Train Untamed was really fast and it was really high pitched. It's only recently been like deeper and like longer. But yeah, that's where it all started. No, my brothers are really good at making that voice, and they spent a lot of time with me when I was first starting the gym, and so they actually might have been the ones who did it first. Okay. But because they're really good at making that kind of voice, and so we did that, and then like the face of like look like yeah. Almost like you're having a seizure. We would just do that, and we'd like draw it out for like 20 seconds of like untamed. Oh, so anyways, that just picked up from there.
I love those stories just because, you can't make it up, and it's always funny, like you said, looking back. Like, I look back at my old videos, and I'm sure you do the same thing, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? You know what I mean?
I don't even like watching old videos because I'm like, God, shut up.
Yeah, you like.
I don't even want to hear this guy. Yeah.
All right, so without getting too in deep with my backstory, so this is actually my third gym location that I'm in right now. So I've been kind of that entrepreneurial phase. I've been doing it for 6 years, but the last year I had lost 2 gym locations. One was due to like a structural problem. Like we literally were trying to deadlift 400 pounds and the floor was started crumbling. Like it was not concrete. It was like a weird composite material that looked like concrete, so it was just awful. And then the second one was in like a really dingy, dirty warehouse space, but the landlord kind of didn't want to tell me he wanted to actually use that space for something. So I ran into some problems, bottom line. It was a crazy story. But I was just kind of wondering if you had any earlier like issues trying to either start the gym or get the gym running, and how did you face those problems?
Yeah, I mean, I faced tons of problems, like obvious problems of like, how do I get people in the gym? I have no members. What am I going to do? I ran in, a sob story of like a bunch of times where I literally was like, shit, I can't, how am I going to pay rent? You know what I mean? Like, rent's due in like a week. I literally don't have, I need like $250 to make it, like figured out how to get money. Yeah. But, so there was all that. And that was just, I guess there are a bunch of side stories that if you want to hear those, we can talk about it, of like how I would end up making that money. But my situation was actually very similar to yours. This is my 3rd gym location.
Yeah.
There's only one Untamed Strength. When I say it's the 3rd, people are like, there's 3 of them? I'm like, no. I was at one, moved to another, moved to this. But my first location was the same thing. It was like a business warehouse, not a commercial industrial warehouse. And so luckily I didn't have many members, and we didn't do a lot of barbell stuff, so we didn't do a whole lot of deadlifts. A lot of it was the strongman stuff outside.
Okay.
But yeah, we destroyed the floor. And I remember we were doing stone loads one time, and he had a piece of wood that was like in the squat rack, like resting on the safeties. Mm-hmm. And we would load the log or the stone onto the wood, and then drop it down on the floor, just a flat floor, like with one horse stall mat. We drop it there. And I remember one time I was walking through the gym and I rolled my ankle, and I'm like, whoa, that wasn't good. So I pulled the horse stall mat back, and there's a stone-sized hole in the floor. It was like the same, you said, like this material that was like not concrete.
Yeah.
It was like maybe an inch thick. And then underneath it was just air. There was no foundation, just like air and then dirt from the
Dude, that's the
ground.
same thing it had been like the same situation.
Yeah. So we took like tons, like out of several 50-pound bags of sand, and just poured sand on the floor until the mound was high enough, and then it like filled the hole, and then we just put the mat back on top. But yeah, we destroyed that thing. So, and then the next place that I went to, it used to be an old wood shop.
Is that the one that had kind of like a mezzanine on top?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It had the blue walls and the loft up top. Yeah. So that was old wood shop. And no matter how many times I cleaned it before, it was always full of like wood dust. And it was always so dirty. It's like a mechanic shop. You just cannot get it. You can't get the oil off the floor, But anyways, and so, but that place, apparently, I should have read the fine print, but it was so stressful being there. I was only there for a year, thank God.
Okay.
But it was almost like a homeowners association. There were so many stupid rules that I wasn't really aware of that I'm sure were in the contract, but I didn't pay attention to. Like, it was this parking lot that had nobody in there. The lot where all the warehouses were, mm-hmm. There's nobody there. But I would have we're only allowed 2 parking spots apparently. So we'd have like 3 or 4 cars there. Nobody else. It's a whole empty parking lot. And I'd get letters in the mail or phone calls like, you have more than 2 and I'm like, it's an empty parking lot. And then the outside spot was really nice because you could do strongman stuff outside, like flip tires and stuff. Yeah. But apparently not. I didn't realize that until after the fact when we're out there flipping tires. And they're like, you cannot use the parking lot. This is common grounds. It's not covered under insurance. And I was like, can I add it to my insurance? Nope. And I'm like, what? So we couldn't go outside. So it was so stressful. And they had cameras, and they would like call me. We'd step foot outside on a Sunday afternoon. I'd get a phone call, So just like dealing with landlords like that sucked. But
You know what? It's actually weird how similar the stories are because the last one I was at, I ran into a parking problem too. But across the street, it was a gun range, right? It was an indoor gun range, and at the spot that I was trying to build, which was actually just full of debris and dust, like you were saying, we didn't have a bathroom. So I'm like sitting there trying to clean up, and I'd have to go to the bathroom. And I remember there was like a woods line, and I would go out there with like my gallon jugs, and I would have to pee in my jugs. And I'm sitting there like I'm going to the bathroom, right? And then the one time, the son of the guy who owned the gun range, he was like showing me around the gun place. And then he takes me in this room, and you see all the cameras, and I'm like looking at him, and I'm like,
oh my God,
that camera is literally pointing right at where I go to the bathroom. And he's like, yeah, my dad, he just sits here for hours and watches the cameras. And I'm just like, oh no. Dude, it was like, everyone's looking at me like
sucks.
smiling. I'm just sitting there like, my whole face went white. But yeah, man, no, I respect you, man. And so I asked you this before, and I actually implemented what you had told me. But so what was like your main strategy of like getting people in the gym, whether it was did advertisement work and like kind of you were saying the whole like the strongman thing, but I'll let you talk about that, and that's kind of what I'm starting to do. But just kind of what was your tactic getting people in there?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure it out. I was totally irresponsible going into it. I like didn't have a business plan. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to do it. And so when I started the gym, my plan like sucked. And it took me a while to figure out how am I going to get people in this gym. And it wasn't until I did all the like old school forms of advertising. I'd go to events and talk to people, or I'd go door to door and talk to people.
Yeah.
I got postcards, and my brothers and I drove around in my truck for days and put the postcard in a baggie with a little rock and we throw it on people's driveways. And none of that stuff ever worked. I've made homemade signs. I went to a craft store and got a bunch of poster board. I made homemade signs and put them up around town, and none of that stuff worked. Nobody ever contacted me saying, I saw your sign and I wanted to sign up. But so that never ever worked. But I after a year, I was like, man, I don't know how to tell people, how to get people to know there's a strongman gym in the area. And then my girlfriend was like, why don't you host a competition like the ones you compete in?
Mm-hmm.
And I doubted myself, and I was like, I can't do that. My space isn't big enough. I don't know how to do that. I don't have the equipment. And then she talked me into it, and I eventually did. And that really helped with people with strongman. So a lot of people who were interested in strongman, whether competing or just doing it, started coming in the gym. So that helped a lot, hosting an event at my location.
Yeah.
And then, the short, quick answer is I was making YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I made a lot of YouTube videos before I made any that actually did well, and they were the instructional videos that started doing well. And that really helped with getting my social media presence up. But even though the YouTube channel was big, there still weren't tons of people in the immediate area who wanted to come to the gym, and YouTube got way bigger than the gym was.
Yeah.
And so, but with that said, I don't know how much YouTube has helped, but it's helped. I know that it's helped tremendously, mainly just for Google search reasons. So whenever someone,
yeah, that's a good point.
Whenever someone types in powerlifting, strength training, strongman, Sacramento, California, or Northern California, all of my YouTube videos will pop up just within Google. And so they didn't necessarily hey, I was watching your YouTube video, realize you're in town, I want to come. They were just yeah, I Googled what I'm looking for, and I found your YouTube channel. So that helped big time. And that's all free, too, so I don't have to pay for that, which is really nice.
So do you get a ton of, you say probably more drop-ins, from more YouTube stuff, or do you actually get members from that, or both? I would guess.
Yeah, both. There are a lot of people who have signed up and hey, I've been watching your channel for a while. Finally got rid of my gym, and I'm here now. I want to join.
Uh-huh.
But I get a lot of one-time form checks.
Okay.
So people who pay for one session just to come in and get their stuff looked at. But that's every day. I have people
what's like your gym like business model? Like, are you open all throughout the day? Do you do classes, kind of both? Just because I don't know like how your gym runs.
The gym's Untamed Strength is a 24-hour key fob access gym.
Oh,
so
nice.
Everyone has their own key fob that they scan at the front door, and that pops the door open for them. So all the members get to come in whenever they want. So I don't always have to be here. And then I have like other membership options to where you can just come to we do strongman conditioning classes. You could just come do that. You don't need a key fob. You don't get a key fob. You just come to the classes then. And then I do my own personal training clients. But that's how the gym runs. It's a 24-hour access key fob gym.
Right on.
And that was only like recently that I started doing that, like last year, 2017.
And then so you have Mark Bell's gym's near you, right?
Yeah.
So then was that there before you had opened your gym? Like, did you know him, or did you were just like, yo, I don't even care. Like, I'm just open up shop like near Mark Bell, and I'm just gonna do my thing.
Yeah. No, I knew that Super Training was there. Super Training was much more like it was not what it is now.
Okay. Yeah.
But it was like, yeah. So back then it was a part of another gym called Midtown Strength and Conditioning, and there was like a little side area, and that's where Mark Bell and the crew would train. But they were like a bunch of fat, geared powerlifters. You know what I mean? So like, who were like trying to squat 1,000 pounds. So it was not like my market. You know what I mean? Or who I was targeting. So I wasn't worried about that. And then, like a year or 2 years later, he actually moved into his own location, and they are what they are now. But it's not, I would not say we're like competing for people at all, because, like his gym's very limited. Yeah. You have to be like a part of the team. They have like limited training hours. Like we train Tuesday, Thursday at 4:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Come train with us if you want.
Gotcha.
Which is not like practical for most people.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think we're competing for people. I don't know. There might be some people who are like, should I do Super Training or Untamed Strength? And whatever.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Yeah, for sure. So let's dive into more, I guess, would say like programming, like the whole barbell medicine thing. So for those of you that I guess will watch this at some point, Alan's my coach, and he totally switched up my programming to RPE based right now. And you said there'd be some percentages, but that's all through barbell medicine. So I would say, like, how did you meet barbell medicine, and kind of like what maybe has changed in terms of like your programming, how you would program for a client in the past, and maybe more so I'd say now with what you're doing.
Yeah. So I ended up. It was the end of 2016. So like December of 2016. I was not getting anywhere with my own programming, and I was stuck for a long time, and I was getting sick and tired of it. And so I was like, I need help. So I found Austin Baraki, who before he was like really associated with barbell medicine. I found him on actually the Starting Strength YouTube channel. He was in an interview with Ripito.
Okay.
And so I would listen to him. And then one of the members here at the gym used to be coached by Jordan. And he knows of Austin. And so I talked to him about it, and he was like, dude, he's like, contact Austin. And so he's like, here's his Instagram. So I started following Austin on Instagram. And then eventually I said, I want to get coached by this guy. So I reached out to him, and then that was that. So he started coaching me. So everything of what I've learned has come from Austin. Jordan also, but mainly Austin. That's who I was paying for coaching. And then Austin hopped on board with Jordan to be a part of barbell medicine. So barbell medicine's been around for a long time.
Okay.
It was initially just Jordan, and then Jordan was coaching Leah. Leah pretty much said, hey, I can help you out with a lot of stuff. And so Leah came on board. It was Jordan and Leah. And then Austin and Jordan have been friends and kind of like training partners since before barbell medicine, I think.
Okay.
But Austin was like officially hopped onto barbell medicine in 2017. And so anyways, after a while, they started to get bigger and bigger. Their social media presence started to grow. And after Austin had coached me for quite a while, like a year, he reached out to me and was like, hey, would you want to start coaching through barbell medicine? And so I said, yeah. And yeah, that's kind of how it started.
So with your training, were you doing RPE at all before them, or was like RPE kind of new to you, like with him when you started?
No, I was doing like the typical thing. Like I would just try every program, like I did 5-through-1 a lot. But I would do 5-through-1. I did like the juggernaut method, the cube method. I would do like some strongman programs.
So you kind of sound like me.
I think that's the story that's shared with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just doing whatever like programs are online, that you can find that like have anything to do with powerlifting or barbell training. And so I was doing all that, getting nowhere. And then I was trying to like take everything from all those programs and like put them together. And I was just not making any progress at all, getting and regressing. And I would say that my clients, I did online coaching years ago for like a couple months, but it was a mess and I stopped doing it. But my clients that were in the gym, it was probably, I was programming them the same way that I was programming for me. And I mean, for like the majority of people I was coaching who were just novice people, it worked. They got stronger. I wouldn't say that like none of those programs work. That's not at all what I think. They're just suboptimal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are better ways. But so yeah, and not everyone was like concerned with like, Alan, I want to squat 500 pounds. Help me. It was more like, hey, I'm fat and weak. I just want a good workout. You know what I mean? So like it was easy. But no, I'd never used RPE. I'd only heard of it. It was a pretty smooth transition into it. Austin was helpful. But it wasn't like a huge introduction. He was just like, here's your program. And I'm like, same with you. I was like, oh, RPE. And so I'm like trying to kind of figure it out. But he was really helpful along the way. But I had never done RPE before that. And yeah, like a lot of, I would say like everything that I've learned was taught by Austin.
Okay.
And he's been extremely patient with me when I've asked some stupid questions or when I've just had like, when I've said things that looking back on are just wrong. And he's like politely like, hey, this is probably actually the truth, or this is why what you said is not entirely right. And it's especially hard when I was making YouTube videos, and he would like see the YouTube videos and like probably think like, nah, it's not totally right, like.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he was like really patient with like me learning all this stuff. So, but yeah, 100% Austin's taught me everything I know about like
what's been like the biggest difference with RPE you've noticed in your training? Like to me, it seems super calculated. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty cool. Even like with all the stuff we do with like the spreadsheets and everything like that, like I'm like, damn, this is legit. Like I'm like logging things in and getting numbers and stuff, and we're seeing charts. Yeah. And before you're sitting there with like your notebook and you're like, I think
day one. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Like you said, it is super calculated, and that's what auto regulation is that it is, I think, the most accurate way to train. And the longer you use it, the better you'll get at it. The more in tune and the more calculated it will be. But there are so many reasons, and I've made long videos about it as to why I think RPE is best. Not to say that I have clients to where I like will prescribe their weights, like do this and this and this. Or if you're a beginner, I think that doing like a linear progression is better.
Yeah.
There are clients who are like, I'm like, you are not ready to do RPE on your own, so I'm going to give you some percentages. You know what I mean? So no, not everyone that I coach uses it.
Yeah.
But if you're able to, I would suggest doing it. So yeah.
No, definitely. So I had some people who asked me, and I figured it'd be a good time to talk to you about it now. They were saying, oh, like, are you becoming a power lifter? So I was just like, no, like, I'm just going to ask Alan. So kind of, I would say based on my goals with nationals in 2018 and the layout of time we have, kind of what as a coach are we trying to do for me to perform the best, or what do I need to get better at?
I think the most important attribute of any strongman is strength. And so you even said that your lifts have like regressed a little bit, like from our all-time bests. So let's drive those back up, right? Strength is going to be the longest thing. It's going to take the longest amount of time to improve, more so than conditioning. So we're going to focus on that, especially right off the bat. So if we can get your deadlift up to 650, right, and your squat up to 585, and your press up to, what have you pressed, like 245? Yeah, so get that up to 265, 275. It's going to have a huge carryover. And so I think that's in any like off-season training, it's going to be pretty strength focused. But I don't think that your conditioning right now is that important. I also, if you look at nationals, it's a bunch of heavy static events. Other than the flip and the drag, right? It's all in place. You're not moving. And I don't think that like you're not gonna do well in the car deadlift because you're not conditioned. You're right. You're not gonna do well in the car deadlift if you're not strong.
You're not strong.
Like if you look at like, is Eddie Hall very conditioned? No, but he won World's Strongest Man, right? He's fucking strong. So I don't think that all the energy that you're using towards a whole bunch of high intensity conditioning. I'm not saying that conditioning is bad and you need to stay away from it, but if you're killing yourself every day with really high intensity conditioning, I think that energy can be better spent towards getting stronger, or just recovering for your next day. And
sure.
There's obviously some skill required in strongman for the implements, and we'll worry about that later on down the road. But I don't think that it's terribly important right now.
Yeah.
So I'd say the goal is to get a whole lot stronger.
And that's you nailed it on the head, and that's why I think too, like I think sometimes people may view like, oh, when a coach gets a coach, like why would he need a coach? Like, you know what I mean? People like who just are but it's like, to me that's so stupid. And it's like, I think everyone needs it. Like any coach needs a coach. Like if you're trying to program for yourself, you're going to be the best person who's going to be like, that sounds like I should do that, but I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Or like, I'm just going to stick to doing things I like to do. But even like the change for the RPE was funny because on Monday, I thought I knew I went too light, and then it's like today I try to gauge it and I'm still trying to find that sweet spot of it. But then today I'm like, holy shit, you know what I mean? And you were saying the volume is in the working sets. And I definitely felt that today doing pause deadlifts. Like I'm doing just pause deadlifts and I'm doing my competition press and there's just a huge pile of sweat on the ground. You know what I mean? And it takes me a lot longer to do that. And it was completely different. But I'm like, man, like I can totally see where this is going in terms of like long term. Like my strength will definitely go up if this is how I'm training and cutting out the ridiculous amounts of conditioning I was doing. And the accessory was just out of control.
Yeah, but, and at first glance, I think I said this in the email yesterday, but at first glance, you're kind of like, whoa, this looks like a lot less volume. And it might be like in terms of absolute sets and reps, right? But it's just a lot less volume in the fluff areas and a lot more volume in terms of the main lifts. Whether it's sets and reps or it's frequency, right? If most people are moving on from 5-3-1, doing the main lifts once a week, if you have them squatting twice a week, deadlifting twice a week, and pressing 4 times a week, right? That's a whole lot of, the frequency is doubled, which is a whole lot more volume. But yeah, it's kind of like, this, I'm kind of like backtracking, but if you look, I know Brian's not competing in USS Nationals, right? Aldrew.
Well, did you see his shoulder again?
No.
Yeah,
I saw his surgery. He get a surgery again?
Well, he's got to get a surgery again. Did you see the thing sticking out of his shoulder?
No.
Dude, yeah. This is gnarly. So,
like an infection?
Yeah, so I went there probably like 2 weeks ago, and he's like, yo, check my shoulder out. And he pulls his sleeve up. Dude, there's this, it's like, this bump, like sticking like all the way out of his skin. And, I'm like, yeah, you should get that checked out. So they try to lance it, like they're like sticking, like needles in it, and it's just blood, like no like pus. Like I thought it was gonna be like just a sick like pimple shot. You know what I mean? Like it was
Yeah.
gonna just explode, but that didn't happen. So he went, got ultrasound, came up inconclusive, and then went back again, got MRI, and here he either has a bone marrow infection or the screw is literally infected and trying to push its way out of his shoulder. So
Whoa.
he's got to redo. Yeah, he's like going in for like emergency surgery. I think within the next, either it's already happening or within a day or two. But he was going to do USS. I was kind of pumped because I was like, man, like I think I'm going to be in the weight class with him. You know what I mean? Like this should be sick. But yeah, dude, I don't know. That's just awful. So
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
yeah.
I wish him the best of the speedy recovery, but I'm sure he'll bounce right back. But so if you would like match him up as your competition, right? I tell people this at the gym all the time because I see so many people who are not very strong, right? And I'm not by no means saying that you're not very strong, but there are people here that are not very strong, right? And they're like killing themselves with events every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, and they go to competitions and they lose terribly, right? So if you took like you and Brian, and if Brian was to win, would it be because his technique is so much better than yours? Would it be because he's just so much more better conditioned than you? Or is it because he's so much stronger than you, right? Most people would agree that it's probably because he's so much stronger than me. And there are a lot of people in here that like beat themselves up by doing medleys. And I'm like, dude, it's not that hard to carry a keg. You don't have to kill yourself with a keg carry every day.
No,
but
that's true,
they're just doing like so much events. And I'm like, dude, you're still pressing 195 pounds. You have to get your press up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyways, that just goes back to like strength is very important for a strongman competitor. So
I ran into the same type of deal with Olympic lifting. Like I was very unconventional with how I trained for Olympic lifting. Like I got good at the skill of the snatch and the clean and jerk, and I did it, enough to keep that skill. But then I focused on building my raw strength. And my philosophy is like, okay, if I can take my deadlift, from 500 pounds to 600 pounds, trying to clean 400 pounds is going to be a lot easier. But it's so weird. Like they're so stuck. I think it's getting a little bit better now, but on programming, it's still like so many snatches and clean and jerks. And it's like you can get really good at the snatch and the clean and jerk, but you're not going to get stronger. So that's kind of how I was training for that. And people are like, well, how do you do Olympic lifting and strongman and powerlifting? I'm like, listen, I just make sure I can still clean and snatch. And if my overall strength is going up, like I'm going to just only probably make those lifts better long term. Like I'm not sitting there 4 days a week clean, jerking, and snatching all the time. You know what I mean?
Right. Especially if you've played sports and you're like generally athletic, you're going to pick up those skills a little bit quicker. But it's funny you say that because there was a guy here, it was a while ago, but he used to come in here and do all the Olympic lifts. And I'm not. I've done one Olympic meet, and I am not an Olympic coach at all. But he's like, hey, dude, will you check out my clean, man? I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And he was trying to clean 225. And he goes for it, and he gets to the bottom, and then, like, catches it, and it just, like, slams him down, and he drops it. And I was like, he's like, dude, I don't know what is wrong. And I'm like, it looked good. And I'm like, how much do you front squat? And he's like, 245. And I'm like, you're trying to clean 225.
Yeah.
Like, you're just weak, man. That was a good clean. Get your front squat up to 345, Yeah. So, it's like technique, but sometimes you just got to get stronger.
He was looking for the magic technical answer.
Yeah.
You're just like, like
you're on your toes. Point your toes out. Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. So, I don't want to hold you up too long because I know you got stuff to do, but I'll ask you nutrition-wise, all right? What's your nutrition probably in the past, and then what is it like now? Because I'm doing the nutrition with Vanessa, and I'm trying to do the best I can with it, but I think your nutrition is looking a little bit better when I watch your Instagram. It's like seems pretty frequently and consistent.
Yeah, it is. I'm not the guy to talk to about nutrition. No, it's like I don't even know how many calories I eat a day. I just kind of monitor my weight.
Yeah.
I don't count my calories. I typically like 6 days a week eat the same thing every day or the same combination of stuff. And it's not. I just try to keep my body weight around the same that I'm at right now, consistent. And so by just eating the same thing every day, I'm right there. but nothing's really like, I try to eat carbs and protein with every meal. I don't like do a whole lot of snacking. It's usually like 4 meals. And then I'll have a protein shake and a banana or something, which will be I think it's a snack. Yeah. But, yeah, it's rice, potatoes, sometimes noodles, beef, chicken, sometimes pork, sometimes fish, vegetables with each meal other than breakfast, eggs, oatmeal, and a few glasses of milk a day.
So you're not a big keto fan, huh?
No, and I'm not. I don't even want to get into that. You just go listen to Jordan and Austin talk about that. Jordan mainly, but no. Like when people, I think that any sort of diet like that, whether it's a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet, keto diet, whatever, it's just you're just eliminating like a lot of options, and so if that manages to like drop calories, then for weight loss, I think it will work, but. I'm with Jordan on like that's probably not optimal from a performance standpoint. Yeah, or it's definitely not optimal from a performance standpoint. But I mean, there's a guy at the gym, at this gym. He's not a member anymore. But he came into the gym like he's a big dude. He's like 6'4", like 290 pounds, and he wanted to join the Army, and he wanted to be Green Beret, I think is what he was saying. But in order to do that. He had to drop down like 215, which was like his max weight for his height, for height and weight standards to get into the Army. And maybe it was just Rangers. I don't remember, but it was some special forces that had a limitation. Anyways, he did keto for like half a year, and he got down to 215, and he looks great. He looks like this really muscular dude, and I'm not going to be like, oh, you did keto, bad idea, like good on you, dude, that's awesome. So I stay away from that. But anyways, so right on. I don't really remember what so I don't have like much thought into I make things as far as what I eat. I make things that are easy to prepare in bulk, and then that I can like eat every day. So I don't make like really extravagant meals because they might not hold well as leftovers, but I can make a pot of rice a couple of times a week. I can make a huge casserole dish full of potatoes, and then meat, chicken. It's easy to like access throughout the week.
Yeah, I'm definitely the same way. Like I've literally would eat chicken for breakfast if I had to. Like it's just like fuel source. Like that's the way I view it. Like I don't even care about the taste. Like it's every day the same thing. It's easy to do, but we'll see what happens, I guess, long term with the nutrition. I'll ask you like one more question, and then we're just going to do rapid fire ones at the end, and then we'll wrap it up, and we'll go on with our lives. So I would say for starting either a gym, let's just say we'll say starting a gym for someone, because I see a lot of people, especially with like social media and stuff like that, who are now probably pushing more towards like they want to get into the fitness or the gym scene. They see people like you doing it. It's kind of like, what would you say is like one of the biggest tips to getting it done and being successful at it?
I would say that I get asked this a lot whenever I do these interviews, and I think no, these are because they make me think. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I would say that 2 things. One, you have to find your demand, right? Why should people watch your channel, or why should people come to your gym? And you have to find that and run with it, right? So whether it's, hey, we're the only gym here that has strongman equipment in the area, you know what I mean, or whatever it is. We're the only gym that has kilo bumpers if you're a weightlifter, you know what I mean? You can't get that at 24-hour fitness. Yeah. So like figure out what you have or some sort of demand and fill that. Don't try to be a copycat. So that's number 1. But number 2, as far as just getting things done, one thing that was really helpful for me, and I don't even know if this is a good answer, but I think it's useful. When I first started, I didn't know like where to go from here. What was the next step? What do I do? How do I get people in the gym? And I would wake up every morning and go like, what do I do now? You know what I mean? There's nobody in the gym. I've already talked to a bunch of people. So what I would do is I would write down every morning. I'd write down 3 things that I'm going to do today. Whether it was like, I'm going to I'm going to make a YouTube video about squat tips, right? Or something. Or I'm going to go to that local high school and talk to the football coach, something like that. So it's 3 things that I'm going to do today, and I would make sure that I had 3 things every single day. Nowadays, it's the other end of that where I'm super busy, and so I have to prioritize, and I just say, so that I don't like get ahead of myself and get frustrated, I'll just say, okay, I'm going to write down today's to-do list, 5 things I have to do today. I'm going to worry about those, nothing else. And so that's like a good way to keep, like when people say, keep moving forward or don't stop moving. Mm-hmm. It's easy when you have something that's always on your list. I'm going to do this no matter what. And things will start to click, you know what I mean? Rather than just like sitting around being like, I don't know what to do. That's it. I'm done. Maybe this didn't work out. Yeah. Just say, I'm going to do this. Right. And then, 9 times out of 10, whatever you're doing is not going to stick, but something will, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that would be my tip. Write stuff down.
No, that's awesome. I like that. I agree with that. To-do list, yeah. But by the end of the day, you're right. There's like 30 things on there, and then you're like, oh, no.
Yeah. I've just realized that my to-do list is never going to end, so I don't need to, like, stress about it never being finished. But I can do, like, short to-do lists. Like, I want to do this today, and I'll be happy.
How many emails do you get a day? Just curious.
I prioritize the barbell medicine emails to do those every day. But I get, I have an Untamed Strength email address, and it depends. But like on the low end, like 25 emails in the morning. On the high end, 75, 80 emails.
Like easy.
And it usually depends on how active I am on social media. I haven't posted a video in like almost a month because I've been so busy. Mm-hmm. And so emails are not that much. But when I like post videos, or if they're like videos that apparently people don't like, people will direct email me. Yeah. But no, they range from like, do you want to try this product? I think you should make a video about this, or you're an idiot. This was wrong in your video. Like, I'm like, man, you can't just comment in the comment section like everyone else. You have to send me an email.
Oh, that's personal, man.
Yeah. Or there's a lot of business stuff. Like, I want to come check out the gym. I want to set up an appointment with you.
Yeah.
And then there's like, a life story of like, started lifting when I was this old. This, what should I do now? I'm like,
I started getting those, man, and it's like I'll be in the car and like I'll look at it for a second and I'm just like, holy shit, like I just put my phone down.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, like I gotta sit down like at night and like process what is going on. But that's crazy, yeah, man. All right, so I'm gonna just ask you some rapid fire questions. There's not a lot of them, but first thing that comes to your head, just say it, and then we'll just close out this little talk here. Okay. Favorite movie that pops in your head right now?
Rocky.
Rocky, nice.
Rocky. Favorite would probably Rocky 3.
Really? Oh, I love Rocky 4.
Clubber Lang. Rocky 4 is good, but Rocky 3 is better.
I think that's one
Rocky 4 is too popular.
It is. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I just have a CD in my car still of Rocky 4 soundtrack, and whenever I'm just feeling amped up, I'll throw that in. All right. If it wasn't strength training or a gym, what would you be doing?
Probably cooking. I joined culinary school before the Marine Corps because I loved cooking, and that as a recluse I would go run 15 miles and then I would just cook, and I'd watch the Food Network. I was such a loser and didn't have any friends. Didn't go out on the weekends.
That's what we do. Yeah, when I come visit you, we're just gonna watch the Food Network.
Cool, sounds good. And I joined culinary school, and on the first day I was like, I'm joining the Marine Corps. I just left. So I'd probably be doing something with cooking if I wasn't doing anything with the gym or strength training.
Do you like working with your hands? Like, are you like a hands-on kind of guy, like building stuff? Like, is that like?
Yeah, definitely. I have a good balance, and I try to keep the balance of like being on the computer, working with the clients, editing videos, to being in here like fixing stuff, building stuff. We just had a strongman competition that I hosted, and I had to like build some stuff for that, and it was fun. So like, just to like turn the cameras and computers off and just work with my hands is cool. Or like, I always have gym projects. Like, I need to redo all the sandbags here, so I'm looking forward to like doing that.
Yeah, but, so you were like sawing a dumbbell like last night or something.
Yeah, I filled it with some with some like expanding filler.
Yeah, that's what inspired that question. I'm like, he's definitely sawing at a dumbbell right now. All right, what's a big pet peeve that you have?
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of these, but I can't think of one. What? Be more specific, like with regards to what?
I would say one for like in maybe everyday life, and then one in the gym. It's kind of
I don't know. Come back to me.
We'll come back to it. All right. Dream vacation spot.
Most likely a beach, an island somewhere.
Okay.
I'm getting married this summer.
Oh, nice.
And
Congrats,
our
man.
honeymoon is in the Bahamas, so
That's cool.
So that'll be cool.
All right. Favorite cheat meal.
I love a good burger, fries, and milkshake.
Burger, fries, milkshake. Alrighty. Will you cut your beard?
Yes, one day, but it is going to be. I don't know when it'll be, but I'll have to be like really, really wanting to get rid of it. It'll never be on a whim. It'll never be like I'm tired of this.
Really?
But it'll be like, but when I do it, I'll probably cut my hair and my beard at the same time, and it's gonna be something epic. Like I'll go in on like a huge bet that I'll probably gonna lose, just to make it sound better. Or it's not gonna be like I'll just show up on Instagram like, hey, I just decided to cut it.
I was gonna say there definitely needs to be some video that's gonna be
I'll cut
amazing.
1 inch for every $1,000 donated.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I don't think I'd ever do that.
Do you drink alcohol?
Yeah, I don't drink I don't try to get drunk
Do you
ever.
drink every day? No, I'm just kidding.
I like good beer. I like IPAs, and I do like sipping on like whiskey is really the only thing. Won't drink vodka, tequila, none of that.
What's your favorite beer?
Sierra Nevada.
Okay. Very cool.
You guys, there's a Sierra Nevada in North Carolina, so you guys have
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada over there. I saw your recent video. You had a box of Yingling, and I never even knew about it until I was in the East Coast when I was in the
You
Marine
guys
Corps.
don't get it, right?
Yeah, never do. And I was like, everyone was drinking it. I'm like, what is this beer that everyone always drinks?
Yeah.
But yeah, really popular out there. That's not out here.
So did you think of any pet peeves or no?
I don't know. There's so many like little things that.
What's
that
something
would bother
like
me.
what's like something in your gym that always drives you nuts that maybe the members do or that you've had to talk about? Like,
I don't know.
times?
Like people that are slobs, just in general, like
Yeah.
who just make a trail of shit all over the gym, like just like how do you have like 4 pairs of shoes and like 2 pairs of shorts and change a t-shirt and you got your wrist straps over here and your belts across the gym, you got a huge gym bag. I even have a sign like a thing on the wall that says put your gym bags in the back area, don't leave them all over the floor. People bring food and like leave it all over the place, but
Yeah.
I don't know, just like slob, disrespectful. I'm like, I'm not your mom. You're not. I feel like I'm in a teenager's bedroom.
I lost my shit like 2 weeks ago because I bought this, a whole shelf just for that. You know what I mean? It's like right when you walk in, and there was like 20 people in the gym, and every single bench had a bag and a coat on top of it, and I was just like, no way. Turn the music off, and I'm like, listen, I'm like, everybody get your shit off the benches right now. Like everyone's like looking at you like, oh no, oh man, it drove me nuts. All right, but yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up with you, man, because I know you got a ton to do. You're a busy man, but I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to even just like talk, shoot the shit, and hopefully I will get out there, man, and we'll do some training, and you can keep teaching me how to low bar squat, which I am doing.
It looks good, dude. You just like I said, your high bar and your low bar don't look a whole lot different. They don't need to. You just put the bar a little bit lower on your back, but yeah.
I feel legit now. Like, man, it's such a cool feeling. All right, I'm just gonna stop recording this real quick.
Just wiggle your